So, ladies and gentlemen, we finally have got past the first match in a cup, and our ward is facing Manchester City. Welcome back to our FM23 beta save with Newcastle United, where today, as you can see, we are going to be facing Manchester City in the fourth round of the FA Cup, and then we've got a Premier League game against Leeds. I genuinely couldn't remember who it was we were facing. As you can see, since our last match on the channel, which would have been way back now, I guess it's not actually that far back. So it was the matches against Arsenal, which we drew 1-1, and then a 3-2 win against Leicester. We then did draw with Manchester City 1-1, who we faced today. Brentford in the FA Cup was a draw as well. We then beat Wolves in the Premier Division, Brentford in the FA Cup replay, Forest in the Premier League, and Brentford. It does mean currently in the league we are second, so 4 points ahead of third place Leicester. Quite a bit behind Manchester United though. Let's admit they're going to be hard to catch up. Both of our games this season against Manchester City have ended in a 1-1 draw, so that's quite interesting. It does mean we can go into it slightly confident today. If we just have a look at our last match against them, admittedly, our goal was a penalty on that occasion, but we also did play our positive, quote unquote, formation against them, and actually, we did all right. We didn't look too bad through that. So Maximum had a goal disallowed in the 63rd minute as well. So I think we just go out and do exactly the same today. This is going to be our lineup to face Manchester City. We've got Maignan, still can't say his name, in goal. Mendes, Tiete, Silva and Timber as our back four. Danilo, Tielemans and Suchik behind. Kavarat, Palmer and Isaac up front. Just a few things to let you know. Isaac is absolutely rubbish this season, not scoring anywhere near enough goals, and Declan Rice is currently injured, hence his not being included in the side today. I kind of think just for this next match, if I remember rightly, we're just going to start sort of balanced and see how we're doing after the first 10-15 minutes. Because actually, balance just means we're not bombing forward quite as much, especially with like the likes of Nuno Mendes over on that left-hand side. Does love to bomb forward. And realistically, against Manchester City, we probably do want him to be doing that, but not quite as much compared to the likes of when we're playing Nottingham Forest or Norwich or those teams that at the moment are in those relegation spots down the bottom of the league. We can afford to bomb forward against them. Manchester City, not so much. We really don't want to be leaving any gaps for Foden, Alvarez and Haaland, which is Manchester City's front three today, to be playing into. Look at that lineup. It's absolutely disgusting. I mean, the fact they've got Alvarez over on the right hand side, I was trying to click on him. He's also about to take the corner, which we have just about dealt with, but it's only gone as far as Foden here. And we've almost, I was about to say we've almost brought him down in the box. We have tackled him in the box, and it is going to VAR. No penalty. We'll live with that. I was about to say that's not an ideal start. This isn't exactly an ideal start because Pellegrini here taking this free kick. I thought it'd be like De Bruyne, but it's not. It's Pellegrini. Foden trying to get on the end of that one. But we have once again just about dealt with it for a second. But much like, I think it was the last episode against Arsenal, where it was set piece after set piece after set piece, that we headed away, but straight back to the Arsenal players. And eventually, of course, they went and scored off of that set piece. Not directly. It wasn't direct off the corner. It was kind of after having recycled about 3 crosses that we didn't entirely deal with. Pellegrini here again with another free kick on the outside of the area. And I feel like that one is going in. It looked like he was lining up upright and he might have been getting something on that. We have got a throw in here though in Manchester City's half. Mendes here into the box. Antonio Silva is the man who tries to get on it, and Cole Palmer has just scored against his former club to put us 1-0 up. I've said it in a few episodes, but what a brilliant signing Cole Palmer has turned out to be. I'm not really sure. I think because we've got the long throws on. Antonio Silva there, right in the mix. Laporte trying to clear it, but just firing it into the feet of Cole Palmer, which is lovely, lovely stuff. We will take that. all day long. We'll just remove my arrow from the middle of the pitch. I'd imagine that's quite distracting for the players. Palmer again here. Tielemans trying to get that ball forward, and he has actually managed it. Kavrat now over on the left-hand side into Alexander Isak, and once again, Alexander Isak not really doing a lot here. Is it Isaac? I've been saying Isaac all the way through, and I heard someone in a video the other day say Isaac, and now I'm very, very confused with life because I naturally assumed when you've got an I at the start of your name, it would be pronounced I and not E. So if it's E, why not write it with an E? Anyway, little rant aside, we are looking pretty decent in this game against Manchester City, and I don't feel like they've sent out a weakened team here. Not particularly. I mean, maybe there's a little bit of rotation. Is Pellegrini normally in here? Is Julian Alvarez normally out on that right-hand side? I'd imagine probably not, but I can't say for certain he's not. But if it is rotated, it's not like heavily rotated, so we're still getting a very, very good Manchester City side to compete against today. We just seem to have kind of clicked a little bit. I think our main problem this season so far is us being very, very tired. We are through into the box here again. Laporte is having an absolute blinder of a match because he's denied us there on a few occasions so far. Grealish has just come on for De Bruyne. I just saw flash up on my screen, which is an interesting one. Isaac, once again, he's just not very good this season. I think I said it in the last episode, and I stand by it. I think he had his head turned by all these bids coming in for him, and he's just decided he doesn't want to play for us anymore, and he's not going to make the same effort as a result. Just making these substitutions here a second. We could bring on Nianzou for a very, very rare appearance because he's not actually registered in the league, but I think instead we bring on Fernandez there for not a rare appearance, but I'm definitely at the moment preferring, when I can get them all in the side, the three of Rice, Tielemans and Suchik, who has come in and been very, very good in that central midfielder role. He was meant to be coming in to basically just be a bit of a rotation player because, as I mentioned, when we had injuries or when players were tired, we didn't really have out many players to rotate in that. I just punched myself in the face. I'm not editing it out either. You can just watch me punch myself in the face. Palmer here is looking very tired, so this might be his last contribution into Antonio Silva, who does get on the end of that corner, but doesn't manage to get it in the back of the net. So I think Palmer... Do we take Palmer off? He's having such a good game, and I think he's up for it because it's his old club. I kind of don't want to take him off. Karsdorp, I think, comes on for Timber. Tiete's got a yellow card, but is having a good game, and Antonio Silva isn't having quite as good a game, so maybe Milenkovic comes on there. I think that's all 5 substitutions now, so now we just need to see out the rest of the match, a match which, I remind you, ladies and gentlemen, we are absolutely dominating against Manchester City. We've only got 1 goal, and it is Manchester City, so they could easily pop up and score one themselves, but we have by no means, if you look at this compared to matches we've played with this team in this series so far, we are definitely not being dominated. And Dembele there with a chance to add a second. Could have absolutely clinched that one for us, made it completely sure. Instead, it's probably quite a costly miss. Can we clear this one? We can. It's a very costly miss, in fact. A very, very costly one indeed. And John Stones comes up the other end in injury time after that Dembele miss and equalises for City. As I just said, it was entirely likely, if we didn't get a second, that they came back into this. I don't feel like they deserve to be in it, even slightly. I think we've been by far the better team today, but the result does not go in our favour, and once again we're going to have to face a replay in the FA Cup. So we so far played against Brentford and had to go to a replay to get the win, and now Manchester City, where we're going to have to go to a replay to get the win. When's that replay going to be? So it's literally, we've played them on the Saturday, Leeds the next Saturday, and then City on the Wednesday. They've got Walker, Cancelo and Joshua Kimmich out though, which I guess is all good for us, but also means now it's a replay. I'd imagine they're going to send out a much stronger team. But we can't focus on that yet. That is 2 matches away. We've got to focus on the next one, which is going to be Leeds, and we'll go to that one right now. A couple of changes for that match then against Leeds. We've got Meganian in goal, Mendes, Salisu, Silva and Timber, Danilo, Tielemans and Souček in midfield, Kavarat, Hudson-Odoi coming in instead of Palmer and Dembele up front. So I think that's 3 changes since the last match. I wish that told you on this screen. I swear it used to do it in FM23, where it would tell you exactly how many changes you do. So like this, they've made 1 change since the last match. But I believe, unless I'm completely making it up, which I don't think I am, but I could be, it used to tell you how many changes you'd made since the last match, because I quite like knowing that, especially if you've saved and maybe not played for a couple of days, and I'm like, did I make these changes? Have I not made these changes? Blah, 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 blah. Declan Rice is now apparently fully fit, so he is on the bench today, but we're kind of saving him for that match against Manchester City. Dembele's got on the end of this big ball forward, straight at the goalkeeper, but he got on the end of it, which is quite nice. We're kind of playing him because I feel like he's doing a better job than Isaac at the moment. He's got as many, if not 1 more goal than Alexander Isak, and he's played maybe 10 to 12 games less than him. He's through on goal again here, and there we go, 6th goal of the season for Dembele. I think Isaac is on 4 at the moment, and if he's going to complain about wanting to leave to another club, A1, they need to bid more money for him, because obviously we have gone through the January transfer window now. Literally nothing happened apart from that man Souček coming in. I don't believe anyone went out at all, and nobody, I think, who came in? Manchester United, I think, came in with a bid by Isaac, but realistically, he's valued at, his top end is now 68 million. It has dropped a lot compared to the start of this season. The start of the season, he was valued at like 93 million at his top end. But equally, if you're going to come in for a player that's valued at 68 million pound with a bid for like 30 million pound, I'm not going to accept it. I don't think he's playing particularly well, but I think he's valued at a little bit more than 30 million pound, especially in today's absolutely crazy market. Because if that means if Isaac is like 30 million pound, comparatively, you'd think the likes of, I mean, like your Neymars, your Mbappes, if Isaac is 30 million pound, the form he was in, they can't be a huge amount more. Kavarat there scoring a fantastic goal. Not to say that Isaac is better than Mbappe or Neymar or any of those peeps, but I don't think he's that much worse that he's valued at basically nothing. We're running riot in this game, considering I think Leeds, if you look at the match stats, are actually ahead. Dembele there, so far, has got an assist and a goal to his name, so we probably made the right choice here, bringing him into the side today. It keeps Isaac fit, because Isaac is a big fan of being in big, important games. He's really up for them, or whatever it says in a player's match report to that effect. I think it's relishes big matches or something like that. So you'd think in a match against Manchester City, he would be right up for it. And Dembele, not so much. But equally, Dembele scoring more goals. So we can rest Isaac and play Dembele and get a decent performance like we have today. And I'm very, very happy with it. He was a bit of an expensive rotation player at almost £40 million. But he's scoring goals and getting good performances. And that's kind of what you want out of your rotation players. I always have that problem in FM. Is you can be on a beautiful winning streak, you get to December, really, where you start having lots of fixtures towards the end of the month, your Christmas period, where we know in the Premier League it is a little bit nuts how many games the players play, and you have to rotate a bit. Your subs come in, your reserves come in, your second string players, and all of a sudden your form just collapses because they're just not good enough. So it's nice to have someone like Dembele to bring off the bench, or in this case, start the match. Leeds here are starting to come back into this, and I'm not a massive fan of it. Timber has managed to get rid of that one. He is on a yellow card. I can also see Nuno Mendes is tired. So before we see this corner, we're just going to take him off and bring on Pedazra on that side. Is there anyone else looking particularly tired and we'd like to keep in a match? Not looking tired, but want to keep for the next match. Tielemans. And then probably Timber, but I don't want to change all of our defence all at once. So I think Timber stays on for a little bit longer. We'll just make those couple of changes. And we'll let Leeds take their corner through Harrison. Going to swing that one into the box. We have dealt with it momentarily, and Timber has managed to get this forward to Hudson-Odoi and allow us to go on a little bit of a counter-attack, although he's found himself very boxed in there, but has managed to play it back. It's a great one too between Hudson-Odoi and Timber, and Dembele's in again, and he scored a second goal. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we don't start Isaac against Manchester City, which is a game, unfortunately, is going to happen off camera now. I've just seen as well, we got the draw in between these two matches. If we beat Manchester City, we then face Reading in the, I think it'd be 5th round. So we do stand a good chance of going a bit deeper into the FA Cup, but it does obviously depend on us getting past Manchester City. And if Dembele's going to be in this sort of form, maybe he starts ahead of Alexander Isaac. That is not a sentence at the start of this season I thought I'd be saying. But you've got to go with the players in form, and if he's scoring, you know, that is probably the most important currency in football is actual goals. That was a decent save as well. Good safe hands there from the goalkeeper. Right, couple more substitutions. Kavrat's going to come off. We'll bring on St. Maximin on that side. And then, oh Jesus, so Timber probably comes off for Milenkovic. Actually, doesn't. We'll do that. Silva and Timber going to come off for Milenkovic and Karsdorp. I think we've changed 3 of our back 4 so far in this match, which, not ideal, but equally we're 3-0 up. Does it matter at this point? Probably doesn't. I think like we'd be all right. Hudson-Odoi has almost gone through an entire match without breaking his leg, so that's nice. That's a improvement from before, where, as I mentioned, he is made of Weetabix, and not even good Weetabix. He's made of like Aldi cheap brand Weetabix that are kind of a bit stale by the time you buy them. No offense to Aldi, I do shop there, they're quite nice, they're cheap. But Hudson-Odoi, his legs are definitely on a discount, and just to compile matters here for Leeds, they've just conceded an own goal, making it 4-0 to us. I mean, it's a bit of a harsh own goal to concede, because St. Maximin there absolutely sending Max Aaron wrong-footed, and then that was probably going very, very wide if it hadn't taken a massive deflection on the way into the back of the net. Leeds have 12 shots and not 1 goal, but look at their possession stats, to be fair. We, today, have been very, very clinical. 5 shots on target and 4 goals. I think we will take that all day long. We are still 4 points ahead of 3rd place Leicester. We are still a long, long way behind Manchester United, which is very, very annoying. And I don't think we're going to catch them. But we do still play them again this season, so there's always the chance that we do, if they could drop a couple of points. So we play them down here. When's that? Mid-March. Let's have a quick look at their schedule. We play them in mid-March. They then play, well, they play Arsenal, us, Chelsea, and then they play Liverpool and Manchester City. So if we can manage to beat them and they drop some points in there, it's not out the realms of possibility that we do go on and win the league. Although I do think it is slightly unlikely. But hey, look, it's been a hard 2 seasons. We're having a good first season. We can dream of the things we could do with Newcastle. If you have enjoyed today's episode, of course, please do drop a like down below. It is really, really appreciated and very, very helpful for getting this video out to some people that haven't seen it yet. Really helps with the algorithm. If you haven't yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button as well. Hit the notification bell. There will be lots more FM23 content coming up over the next year. And until next time, guys, I will see you on tomorrow's video where we try and win some more football matches.